Good morning. So today's bell ringer, I just want you to review your timeline notes for Serial and add to them if you did not finish. So you can pause this video to do that and make sure you have those questions answered. So let's talk a little bit about the structure of Serial and some of the things that Sarah Koenig was doing to both grab our attention and to kind of pace things. So I think one interesting question is, why does she establish as the first episode the concept of Adnan's timeline? So if you think about the timeline, or not timeline, his alibi. So if you think about the alibi as kind of a central component of this murder investigation, it makes sense that she would start there, right? She does things throughout the episode to demonstrate some level of uncertainty about the alibi, right? Whether or not Jay's telling the truth, whether or not Asia McClain is allowing information that could potentially completely change the case. I also think that another thing to think about is how she really does tell a story within a story, right? So the overall story, is told in I think 12 episodes maybe, and she's obviously trying to investigate all the aspects of this case. But then even within the episode, she's basically taking a very much a story arc and developing it. So if you're thinking about the episode as like rising action, rising action, rising action, and then you think about what is the climax of the episode, I would say that the real turning point of the episode is probably when she finds Asia McClain. And there are lots of little moments like that where she finds other people that she wants to talk to, or learns other things. But that really is the kind of turning point. But then when she tells Adnan, it does kind of have this kind of falling action of, oh, well, he doesn't really care because it's all kind of too late. And then the way that the end of the episode kind of ends with these kind of cliffhangers, right, and these teasers for following episodes is another thing that she's doing. She uses a lot of, the centering of different characters, right? So there are lots of different people interviewed in this. You think about Ravia's brother, Adnan, Asia, Derek, lots of different people who are interviewed or whose voices are heard. And so you're kind of constantly shifting your allegiance, so you're hearing one person talk and you think, oh, well, maybe they're, telling the truth or right. And then you kind of hear from another perspective. So it's kind of keeping you shifting all the time. So after we do this, we're going to be focusing on those notes that are the notes over the first couple of pages of In Cold Blood. So go ahead and review back. Remember the purpose notes that we took in our first unit in your skills notebook. So thinking about purpose, what do you think Capote is trying to achieve in the first 3 pages of his book? And what is one choice or strategy that you notice? How does that strategy or choice help him to achieve his purpose? So thinking about, why does he open with Holcomb? Why does he provide the kind of detail that he provides about this? What is the overall purpose that he's trying to achieve? So in this next slide, this is just an example from a piece of student writing from, I think, a couple of years ago. So you have a thesis. Capote's purpose in the opening of In Cold Blood is to explain the setting of Holcomb, particularly and how it is an unexpected scene for the drama of the story. So this person is saying that it's to, kind of set the place and to explain how it's unexpected, which I do think is a big part of the suspense of the book. Why did something like this happen here? And then he goes on in part 1 to basically develop the idea of why does this happen to this family, right? Because they seem like such a wholesome and good family. So here's an example. And so you're going to have to do this as your exit ticket today for another text. And so here's an example of a topic sentence with a piece of evidence and some commentary. So Capote uses many negative or understated words to describe the setting, making Holcomb appear insignificant and unassuming. He describes the town and its features as haphazard, irrelevant, and melancholy. He also uses phrases such as, not that there is much to see, and that really is all, to convey the insignificance of Holcomb. These choices in diction to paint paint a picture of a small, quiet town with small, quiet people. They do not suggest the scene of a cold-blooded murder of an entire family. So I think that that is relatively strong. I have a couple of things that I would say about it to make it a little bit better. I think whenever the student says he describes the town and its features as haphazard, irrelevant, and melancholy, that there should be some commentary after that, connecting back to the purpose. I think that just keep in mind when you are talking about something like diction or word choice, you want to focus on individual words the way the student writer has and not focus on like whole sentences. Whenever I see a student, quoting like a whole sentence, sort of like they do in that next sentence, it starts to move away from word choice and into a little bit more of like sentence structure or syntax. And so we do want to focus in and really get to that deeper level of analysis for specific individual words. So, as part of your class materials for today, you'll see a passage from a book called Devil in the White City. And Devil in the White City is similar to the opening of In Cold Blood. It's got a similar topic. It's actually really great. It's a good book if you like this kind of nonfiction, and if you particularly like books about criminals. So this is the story of the planning and execution of the 1893 Chicago's World's Fair, as well as the life of the serial killer H.H. Holmes, who used the chaos and the excitement of the fair to ensnare his victims. So it very similarly to In Cold Blood, Devil in the White City moves from the story of the Chicago World's Fair to H.H. Holmes in the same way that you see In Cold Blood is always going back and forth between Dick and Perry and the Clutters or Dick and Perry and the investigation. Analyze the choices the writer makes to establish the setting and the mood. So I'm going to give you a second right now to go ahead and look at that passage. And I don't think that you need to really know a lot about the passage in particular. The man who is being described in the passage is H.H. Holmes. And so all of the description in the passage is given for him. So I think that the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to do the exit ticket for today. And the exit ticket is asking you to write a thesis using this prompt for the H.H. Holmes or the Devil in the White City passage. And you're going to be writing into that. And then you're also going to be commenting on at least a couple of your classmates' writing as well. And so we're continuing to work with rhetorical analysis. We're continuing to think about how leads are created. So on Friday, everyone did the Edpuzzle video where you had to write a short anecdote for an AP prompt. And that's something that we're going to be revisiting on Friday. And I'm going to be asking you to write a polished introduction for that particular prompt and to comment on a couple of other students' prompts to help them to polish those. So we're going to continue to work on introductions and focus on introductions as well as focusing on rhetorical analysis. So let me know if you have any questions and have a good day.